Welcome back to Good Morning LaLa. We're talking about Transformation Tuesday, and there's no better way than transforming your life with a good hair color. So Zach Mesquit, like he said, quit messing it up. He is
platinum perfection. He really is. He has been nominated one of the top 100 stylists in the country by Modern Salon. Congratulations, that's a huge accomplishment.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
So tell us about your journey. I mean, it's, I'm sure, very transformational to becoming a stylist and having such notoriety within the industry.
Well, I got into doing hair about 6 years ago, and shortly after starting, the whole process into figuring out which way I wanted my career to go, I realized that I really enjoyed the challenge of perfecting blonde hair. It's one of the trickiest colors to achieve and do the right way. You guys are both blonde. You probably
We've had bad times and good times. For sure.
Yeah, it can be a struggle to find a good colorist to do your blonde hair, and I really enjoyed that. So I decided to kind of brand myself as a blonding expert. So that's kind of what I've become known for.
Were you always a blonding expert here in Los Angeles? Where are you from?
I'm in Irvine, California right now. I'm originally from Huntington Beach.
Okay, California boy.
Yeah.
Right. So what has been the biggest transformation that you've gone through in your life?
Well, for myself personally, probably actually more recently, because like I said, I've become known for doing blondes, specifically platinum blondes. So my main platform is Instagram. So my handle was Platinum Perfection. So I've always gone by that since I started my career. But recently I decided, because I do a lot of other things, I do tons of extensions and I do cuts and all other kinds of color and all that stuff. So I decided to make the switch and actually change my Instagram name to my real name.
Whoa!
I know, which was something that I was really kind of scared to do, because people if I go to any kind of hair events, they'll be like Platinum, they think that's my name. It's Platinum.
That's so funny.
So yeah, I guess the biggest transformation I've gone through is just kind of rebranding myself and showing more versatility.
But it's interesting you mentioned you were nervous, because you really have to be vulnerable when you're just owning something with your own name.
Yeah.
Right? Besides hiding behind the platinum, which you do very well, by the way.
Thank you.
So congratulations on that, and really embracing yourself and your own business. It takes a lot of courage.
Thank you.
So,
what have you learned about just success in the process? About sort of becoming successful, about what it takes to be successful in the business?
I think the most important thing is always literally just giving your best work when it comes to the hair, because I feel a lot of colorists or stylists in general, they build up a big busy clientele, and then they kind of start getting a bunch of assistants, and kind of the quality lacks as they lose their passion for what they do. So I always try to remind myself to treat every time I do a client, even if I've done them for years, treat it the first appointment, that I'm trying to do my best work every time and constantly better myself. I think that's the key.
So true. Yeah, I think it's interesting hair, because color is so important, and it can change your entire life. It affects what you wear, how you feel, everything. And I've gone dark and light and all over the place, and there's nothing like when you have your hair freshly done blonde. There's something so magical about that. Where do you see the industry going, though? We've had all the different things where it's dark on the top and then it gets light on the bottom. Where do you see things going?
I think just more extremes with hair, basically, because with the way the different product companies are all developing their technology and stuff, you can do so much more with color now than you could even 5 years ago. Like when I first started doing hair, it was pretty much almost impossible to get, for example, for me, I have lots of clients that are different ethnicities, people that wouldn't normally be able to go as blonde as I get them. And it's because of the products that we have now. So you can take somebody with like my wife, for example, her hair is jet black naturally, and her hair is my color, and it's healthy. So I think because of the technology we have now and the constant sharing of inspiration with social media and stuff, people are just going more and more extreme with their color.
So that would be the biggest fall trend? Extreme
I think
blonde?
So, yeah. Usually in fall, a lot of people like to go for the icy, the silver tones and the grays and all that stuff that requires a very severe amount of bleaching to get there. So,
and what can we do to maintain this extreme look?
Well, I always I'm not super picky about products. I don't necessarily feel you have to buy crazy expensive products, just as long as you don't have sulfates. That's like the number one thing. If you're blonde, is don't put sulfates on your hair because it's already heavily processed, and sulfates will just strip out any life from that already processed hair. So sulfate free is a big one, and then just moisturizing it.
If we're gonna have blonde ambition, it better have life.
Yeah,
right?
there's nothing worse than like some hair that's really like blonde, but it looks like straw. You know, you want it to look shiny,
Like
and
mine?
healthy.
No, and what about cuts? All the girls have the kind of, we all want that long,
Yeah.
flowing Victoria's Secret thing, but what are the hot trends?
Right now, like the long bob is super popular. Kind of like
The
that.
lob?
The lob, yeah. Anywhere from like the shoulder to the collarbone, like somewhere within that realm is super trendy right now. I've been having a ton of clients wanting that haircut lately.
I love that.
I feel like I'm missing out on so much of life by having my hair so short and being a guy.
You can always bleach it out.
I can bleach it out. Yeah.
Like Dennis Robbins.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. So now, so obviously you're highly successful. People, I checked you out even on Patreon.
Patreon,
and
yeah.
I mean, there's all these different platforms. How do you engage the most with your audience online?
Well, I definitely engage the most. My largest following is on Instagram. And then my newest endeavor, like you said, is the Patreon thing, which is cool because just like with my growing like popularity or whatever, like most of my following is other hairdressers,
Right.
so they want to learn my techniques. But it's kind of impossible, no matter how many classes I could teach, to reach everyone. So that's why I started Patreon. So I basically have like every day that I'm in the salon, like a little mini class that I broadcast live. So
That's so important.
Yeah,
Thank you for
it's cool.
sharing your time and talent with people in that way.
yeah,
It's
I think it's
crucial.
important to like help inspire others and like good education like is hard to come by. Like, what if you're a stylist that lives out in the middle of nowhere, and there's people like big stylists don't travel there to do classes. You can be anywhere and get access to like education from.
Who inspires you?
I would say my biggest inspiration career-wise is Kim Vo. He's got a couple salons here in Beverly Hills.
We know
He's not
Kim.
known-
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
known for blondes, like me. I just think he's like maintained, like a lot of stylists, they kind of come and go, but he's maintained a very like steady career. So I
They'll
definitely
be
look
right
up to
there at the
him.
montage. We stop in and he's working away.
Yeah, always busy, yeah.
Yeah, he's actually in one of the recent issues of Focus magazine.
Oh, is
We'll
he?
be sure to give you
I'm
a
not
copy
surprised.
on your way out. Well, thank you so much for being with us. Tell
Thanks for
people where they
having
can
me.
follow you and your journey and learn some of your tips.
Okay, so my Instagram is now at Zach Mesquit, and then
Platinum Perfection.
formerly Platinum Perfection, yeah. And then if you wanted to join my Patreon thing, that is linked into my Instagram as well. So
Amazing. Well, thank you so
Thank
much
you
for
so
being here and
much.
sharing
Yeah.
time. Stay
Thanks
tuned.
for
We'll be back
having
with
me.
more in Good Morning La La Land.